Good day and good vibe, and welcome to another episode of Chill Art. Chill Art is a public service program of the Leesburg Center for the Arts. The program's goal is to help people shift focus to the positive. Body-mind experts and guest contributors from across the globe volunteer to present their mindfulness modalities and give our viewers tools to better cope during challenging times. Then, after their presentations, we walk you through a short, no artistic ability required art project. Think of them as fun, creative, moving meditations that calm the soul and raise the spirit.
Hi everyone, my name is Olivia Statler and I'm an Expressive Arts and Wellness Counsellor in Toronto, Canada. And I've been a meditation teacher on the Insight Timer for a number of years now. And Buddhism, Taoism, and Druidry all inform my personal practice as well as my professional practice. So I'm really happy to be here on Chill Art today with you. And I would like to talk to you about connecting with nature, indoors and outdoors. It can be really good for your body, spirit, and mind. And just talking about connecting indoors, it can be hard for some of us to connect all the time in the outdoors, sometimes because of injury or long working hours or various reasons. So I just wanted to talk to you about a couple of ways that you can connect inside. Fir tree oil has been shown in studies that it can replicate the feelings of well-being after taking a walk out in nature. So you can use an oil burner like this, or if you're going into the office, a lot of scents aren't welcome in the workplace anymore. So you could simply bring the small bottle with you and just, if you're stressed out during the day, you just take a breather and, meditate for a minute, perhaps looking outside your window, and just get the benefits of a walk outside. This one's fir tree oil, and this one is cypress. And in studies in Japan, cypress has come out on top for feelings of well-being. So I have a wee bowl of soil here. There's also studies that show that the microbes in dirt act as an antidepressant. So that's probably why gardeners get so much well-being from digging in the dirt. And just to be able to loosen up some of the scents, you can mist it. Or what I like to do when I'm watering my house plants, I let the dead leaves go back into the soil. And when you wet them, you can really smell nature in that. So those are a couple of ways that you can connect. Also, studies have shown that patients in hospitals, if they have a view of trees from their window, heal much faster. So you could meditate looking outside of a window if you can see trees from your window, and that can give you a sense of well-being too. Let's move on to talking about connecting outdoors. The number one pro tip, ditch those electronics. I know we all like going for walks with our audiobooks and our music and talking on the phone to friends, and that is all great stuff to do, and I do it myself. But if we're really trying to get rid of the stress and connect with nature, let's put those on snooze for a while. So the next thing that you can do, I find really helpful, is while you're walking, touch in with your different senses, one at a time. So, you can stop and pick up things like rocks. And you can stop and you can touch the trees. After a few minutes of doing that, you can move on to a different scent, or scents being scent. And you can just really take in and smell and stop and pick up things and bring them closer to your nose and just really touch in that way. And then you can move on to seeing, and you can look at all the colors everywhere, and you can notice color variations in leaves and trees, and you can just really get up close and notice a lot of things that you don't notice when you're not touching into those senses. You can also pay attention to the seasons and see how they feel different than each other. And you can collect items from your walks and take them home, and you can make art from them. Like you could paint this rock. Or there's various things that you can do, and we're going to show you in the art section of how to use some dried leaves. You could also take your camera with you. When you look at the world through the lens of the camera, you're looking for that beauty, and you stop thinking quite so much, and that can be really meditative. So I hope some of these things help you out, and I found they've had a profound impact on my mood and well-being. So now I would like to take you on a wee forest path while I read you a poem by the late John O'Donoghue, who was a wonderful man who connected with nature and wrote many beautiful poems about them. This one is called In Praise of the Earth, and is from his book, Walking in Wonder. So we'll leave it there, and if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me through plumblossommindfularts.com or on the Insight Timer under Olivia Statler. So let's go on that walk. In Praise of the Earth by John O'Donoghue. Let us bless the imagination of the earth that knew early the patience to harness the mind of time, waited for the seas to warm, ready to welcome the emergence of things dreaming of voyaging among the stillness of land. And how light knew to nurse the growth until the face of the earth brightened beneath a vision of color. When the ages of ice came and sealed the earth inside, an endless coma of cold, the heart of earth held hope, storing fragments of memory, ready for the return of the sun. Let us thank the earth that offers ground for home and holds our feet firm to walk in space open to infinite galaxies. Let us salute the silence and certainty of mountains, their sublime stillness, their dream-filled hearts. The wonder of a garden, trusting the first warmth of spring until its black infinity of cells become charged with dream. Then the silent, slow nurture of the seed self, coaxing it to trust the act of death. the humility of the earth that transfigures all that has fallen of outlived growth, the kindness of the earth opening to receive our worn forms into the final stillness. Let us ask forgiveness of the earth for all our sins against her, for our violence and our poisonings of her beauty. Let us remember within us the ancient clay, holding the memory of seasons, the passion of the wind, the fluency of water, the warmth of fire, the quiver touch of the sun, and shadowed sureness of the moon, that we may awaken to live to the full the dream of the earth, who chose us to emerge and incarnate its hidden night in mind, spirit, and light. Hey everyone, I am super excited to show you this. In workshops I don't normally get to do stuff like this because of the drawing times. So today you're going to need some acrylic paint, your choice. We are doing a sky background, so you might want to keep that in mind for your color choices. You're going to need an old bus card or an old library card or an old gift card that has no money on it. Please do not use your debit cards or credit cards. We're going to need a flat brush and some varnish. And we are going to need some relief cream, 3D relief. And this is by Pivo. And if you go on their website, it will tell you where it's sold worldwide. We're also going to need some found leaves, some pressed leaves. I found these on a meditative walk one day. And so yeah, I think we're ready to get started. I'm using canvas paper rather than a canvas because I find that when you're learning a new technique, it's an affordable way to see if you like the technique and try various different ways. So we're going to have mostly blue in this one. It's making some funny noises there. And we're going to add some white up top because that's where clouds were. And I picked up these leaves. I'm going to add some peach at the bottom. And some yellow just above it. And so we're going to take our card and we're going to slide it over the canvas like this. Don't worry, this layer is supposed to look mostly blue. Just adding some subtle color differences. And we can add some more color after. So yeah, just make sure you get all the way to the edges, don't worry. And at this point you might want to clean off your card a little bit because there's a lot of paint on there. And so now we're just going to add a little more color wherever you like. There's no right or wrong here. Now I'm just going to take that lightly over, just lightly, and you can go back a little bit, just adding a little texture. So yeah, you don't want to press as hard on this one. And so you're going to want to let that dry for a few hours or maybe overnight until you start at the next point. Just set that aside, clean the hands a little bit. And so we're going to move over to this one that is already dried. So you're going to want to take your glass varnish, and I just add a little to my brush. I dripped a little there, but that doesn't matter. And so we're going to add a little bit to the back of the leaf. A little bit where we're going to set it down. And we're just going to press it in. And just add a little more varnish. It doesn't matter, wherever you want to place your leaves is fine. Sounds like a fire truck is going by. Hope everybody's okay. I am going to turn this one a little bit because I want it to look like maybe they're blowing in the wind. Alright, so we can set the varnish and brush aside. We are going to need it again in a couple of minutes. Just clean my hands here for a second. And we are going to move on to the next stage. So yeah, again, let the varnish dry well, either for a couple of hours or overnight. And so I prepared this one. And now we're going to work with our relief cream. And so, pro tip, always check your relief cream, first of all, to make sure they're working, and recaps them really well because they can dry in the nozzle. And just check and see how much and how fast is coming out of each of them, because they can come out at different rates. So you do see this one's much faster and thicker, so you just want to be aware of that when you're doing your art. So set that aside, and you're just going to trace the leaf. Let's start with a small one. Just trace down the center and then around the leaf. Like that. Okay. Just add some to this one. And we're going to add a stem here. I cut them off of the other leaves because I've found that they don't stick so well. So it's better just to draw it in lighter. And if for some reason you go off the line, which, you know, happens to me as well, you can just use a dampened Q-tip to just quickly get it off. And so I'm going to add some veins in this, and all we're doing is following. It's not coming out so good. This got dried a bit earlier. I think put a lot of pressure. Okay. That's alright. I'm going to have to take a needle to it a bit later. Just add some of this. Yeah. So we're just following the vein of the leaf. And so then we're going to let that set aside and dry for a while. And here is one finished. And all we need to do to this one is, because you can see where the varnish is, the gloss versus the matte. And to this final one, we're just going to add varnish all over. And just be careful not to get it too caught in the veins there. And so, yeah. And so you're going to want to let that set aside and dry again. And when you're ready, you might want to try it on a canvas. And maybe come up with something like that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this technique, and I've certainly enjoyed being on Chill Art. So thank you very much for letting me show you a new art technique. I hope you all are well.